Damon. I mean, Damon went on and worked on, you know, The Leftovers with Tom Perrotta, you know, he's doing Watchmen now, singularly, but I think it just, you know, it depends on an individual project and an individual circumstance. It just, you know, I mean, Damon was an incredible writer, intellect, creative mind, and talent, and, you know, for whatever reason, the show is a reflection of the two of our sensibilities mixed together, and I think it would have been something very different had it been just mine or just his.
Mm-hmm. And also, you know, about the show, the thing is, you were on the Times 100 most influential people's list, the Time magazine, sorry, you know, in 2010 when the end of Lost was about to air. You guys were like star showrunners, which we haven't had that much on television, apart from David Chase maybe,
yeah,
and a couple of other people from the past, maybe the 60s, and, you know. But so being a star showrunner creates, you know, expectations, and you're on the spotlight. So how did you deal with that exposition? You know, like writers, they're supposed to be in their room, and you know, nobody knows about them, basically.
It was just sort of surreal. I mean, you know, it's hard to, you know, I kind of look back at, you know, going to Comic-Con, or, you know, just a lot of the things that happened that we did as showrunners and the attention that we got, and it was just not expected. But what happened was, you know, Lost came into existence at the exact same time as social media. So you had this brand new tool, which was people could communicate on the internet with each other, and then this show was the perfect confounding, confusing, frustrating, you know, engaging show that people could talk about. So I think that was also just a coincidence that enormously, you know, influenced the success of Lost and, you know, put it into the zeitgeist. And I don't know, you know, I think that my normal pattern is to just, you know, try to focus on the work, and I try not to think too much about things like that, otherwise I'll freak out too much, you know.
So, but you had the idea for the ending, maybe not the actual ending as it's written today, but you know, Lost had its end date pretty much a long time in advance. How did that happen?
I mean, it was the first time in the history of network television that a network had agreed to end a show, which is kind of astonishing. You know, TV shows were like the Pony Express. You would just ride the horse until it dropped dead underneath you. So in the third season of Lost, we said to ABC, we need to know how to end this. Like, we were running out of flashbacks, and we were like, we have this mythology, and we don't know if it's supposed to go 2 years or 5 years, and we can't do our job telling stories. And this was something that they had never processed, because basically you just make a show until people quit watching it. We're like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to tell our story from beginning, middle, and end. And in season 3, we had to threaten to quit. I mean, Damon and I were like, we'll leave. And I think ABC saw that if we left, the show would die, you know, from our absence, and so it was better off to negotiate an end date with us than to just let it die under those circumstances. And so we negotiated 3 years of 16 episodes each, which we thought was an incredible reduction. Now I think, God, making 16 episodes a year is really hard. I'm making like 8 episodes of Jack Ryan in like 3 years. But that was the deal that we made, and so we basically, you know, we started talking about how to end the show. When we started the show, we sort of knew immediately that, like, the show opened with Jack's eye opening and it would end with Jack's eye closing. But a lot of the details, you know, naturally came as we went along. One of my most prized possessions is a letter that I was given at the end of Lost by someone who worked with George Lucas. It was a letter to me and Damon from George Lucas saying, you know, I was making it up as I was going along as well. That's the way storytelling is done. That's the creative process. That's how it works. And, you know, nobody can sit there and say that at the beginning that they have it all figured out. The journey itself is what allows you to kind of find your ending or find your way to the ending. And living with the show every day, talking about it every day, you know, leads to creative evolution. And so the ending was built piece by piece over the life of the show. And even though we knew, like, Hurley was going to be in charge of the island and Jack was going to die and things like that very early on, the actual construction of it required getting the whole season to get to the end. Yeah.
So maybe we'll watch a clip from that. You know, it's sort of almost the end.
Okay.